So you're brand new to the opal industry, you've been cutting opals for a little bit thinking you're going to make $1 million. You're going to cut these rough opals and you're going to sell them for 10 times profit. And that's pretty much what most of us want to do. Some people want to do it as a hobby and that's cool, man. But majority of people are trying to buy the rough opal and sell it for a profit. And a lot of those people have cut a lot of stones and they've put them online for sale and they're wondering why aren't they selling? Well, I'm going to show you exactly why they're not selling, because this is what I keep seeing all over the internet. So the number one reason is probably because it's a white opal. Okay, I'm kind of joking there a little bit and a little bit not actually. It's actually true, kind of how it is. But anyway, what we're mainly looking for is the cut. The perfect cut. As a jeweler of 10 years, this is what majority of jewelers are looking for. So the number one sellers are symmetry, symmetrical shapes. Mind my handwriting, it's terrible. Let's move on. But symmetry, symmetrical shapes sell the most. This is what majority of jewelers want. So a symmetrical shape, just say we're cutting an oval, you just want a perfect oval. So of course, I'm not saying it needs to be perfect like actual measurement. It needs to be near perfect. Just for the eye to visually see, it's pretty much smack on. So for example, the biggest opal salesman in the world pretty much is Black Opal Direct. And if we have a look on his page on the internet, we go onto his website and we scroll through his stones, and majority of his stones, just from a first glance, are pretty much perfect. All symmetrical shapes. And that is because he has found over the years, as he mentions in his videos, that they are the things that sell the most. Something that really bugs me, and I'm going to put some examples, like we have a perfect oval here. That's great. That's what we want. But we don't want like an oval that has like a little bit of a wobble in it. And then one side's perfect, you know? Like if it's just off from the human eye like a little bit, that's going to bug people, especially like people with OCD like me. And jewelers, like, I don't want to make my setting curve in like that. We want a nice, beautiful oval setting. We don't want to have to make a nice, beautiful curve over here and then all of a sudden it's dipping in over here. Sure, you could set that and hide that with a thicker setting and make it perfect like that, but that's deceitful. It's just not the way to go. It's not right. So I would never do that. I would always make it follow the stone perfectly. That's just the top of the shape. Now the sides of the shape and all the rest need to be perfect too. So let's get there. So let's just say this is the side view of the stone. We want our flat sides on the edge of the stone when we're working our way around. As you can see in this little example here on my video, I'm working on the edge of the stone. And then it comes to our bevels. When we're beveling the edge, we don't want this sharp edge going into a setting. Just say we have a setting here that we're setting, and we're going to set that and we're going to curl it over with the setting, push the claws over. We don't want that sharp edge hitting the silver there, because that's going to cause a crack. So we always need a little bit of a rounded edge around the whole stone is what we need. A little bit of a rounded edge around the base of the stone. We want the base of the stone flat. We want the base of the stone flat. Some people have their stone, and I've noticed that the base of their stone, so that's the edge of the stone that we've made flat, yeah? And then the base of the stone, sometimes they come in and they do this with it, making a point, but here that's just going to rock in the setting. If we've got that in a flat setting, that's going to rock. When you push over the claws, it's going to rock in there. It's going to be harder to set. It's annoying. A jeweler's not going to like that. So you want that flat base with just a tiny bit of a bevel edge on each side. Super simple. Now also, some people would have the side view of their stone here, just like before. We had the side view, and then some people would have a nice bevel on the edges, but they'd have it crooked. And this is going up like that. And then you have a nice bevel over here. Like that's just going to sit flat. Like here's your setting right here. It's going to sit on that angle and it's going to be harder to set. So you just want that perfectly parallel with the top. You want the top to be perfectly parallel with the bottom. Very important. A lot of people are missing that too. And then you come to the top of this stone right here. You want the dome to obviously come around, dome like that, which is really nice. You just want that nice dome on the top, and the bottom just needs a nice bevel. You don't have to go crazy. If it's a high dome, if it's a low dome, whatever, as long as it has a little bit of a rounded edge, that's all we need. So even if it's a low dome, whatever. Now, also, when it comes to a shape, let's just say it's a cushion cut square, like this, we also don't want to be putting claws onto a sharp corner. Just say you're making a cushion cut, you always got to like round off the corners. Just round off the corners, each corner. That's what we're looking for too. It only needs a tiny bit off. It doesn't need some crazy bit off. Same with if you're doing a pear shape like this, you just want that top just rounded off a little bit. Just round off the top. You don't want that pointy. It's just going to crack when somebody tries to set the stone. So we want to make sure we have our rounded edges everywhere we can. We don't want to be cracking stones, but they still need to be perfect, man. Just make sure it's all even everywhere. It only takes an extra half an hour to make sure things are just in line. I'll give you an example here of what I was looking at the other day. Like this person had it so close to being symmetrical and perfect, but he just was lazy, I guess. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just make it symmetrical. Like, fair enough, a freeform is okay. Number two, here we go. Number twos are freeforms. And they're okay. They don't sell as well as the symmetry, but it can be okay. But the freeform you don't want is like this example here, how this person has almost a perfect square, but it's just not quite perfect like that. It's just almost there. All he has to do is bring in this, and any jeweler is going to see that. All he has to do is bring in that, and he's not losing much carats, and that will be a perfect symmetrical stone. Way better to sale. That's just the laziness that I see when people do that. Freeforms are fine if it needs to be. Like sometimes you do need to do a freeform. Just say it's in a weird shape like this, and that's where the color is. That, like, you can't make that symmetrical. It's got to be what that is. I mean, it can be symmetrical, I guess, in a banana shape there. Maybe that wasn't the best example, but you know, if it's not like almost symmetrical, then it can stay a freeform. But if it's almost so close to being symmetrical like this, it's just going to annoy people. That is all. So we want to make sure if it's almost there, you might as well spend the extra half an hour to push it back into a symmetrical shape, which here's where you want to be anyway, because that's what's going to sell your stone more than these ones. There's still a place for these ones to sell, but not as much as these ones will sell, not as easy. So just make sure if it's almost there, just put it there. If it's not, and if it's a freeform like this, fine. It's going to take a while to sell, but it'll still sell eventually. Somebody will still find it beautiful. And then we come to carvings. Carvings are in here too. Like, carvings are great. I'd say that this sells better than the freeforms, carvings. So I'll give you guys a really good example of a carving, which, as you can see, this person here did that I just saw the other day, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now that's when the stone, just say it's flat here, you got your stone, so you got your edge of your stone, but the color bar is kind of wavy, so it's making the stone go like, oh, weird, like that. And they have to carve it in like that with all your little Dremels and everything to get all that color showing through the stone. But with the carvings, I've noticed that people are still not making the sides perfect and the bottom. With the top of the carving, it's fine. If you want to do the carving like this and make sure you see every bit of color, just make sure the base is still nice. You got that bevel on the bottom of the base, and you got that nice edge around it so it can be set really nicely. That is still something that you got to have to do. People just think, oh yeah, I'm going to do my carving piece, which looks like this, and then you've got a base that like also looks like that, and then your edge here. We don't want to set that as a jeweler. That's just annoying. Like, here's all your beautiful color that you've got up here that you had to carve in. That's absolutely fine. But you got to make sure that bottom is still nice and flat and rounded and beautiful for the setting, with that edge, just like we were talking about here. Just make sure it's all ready for the setter, so the jeweler's more likely to just be like, yo, I want that. That looks easy to set, absolutely beautiful stone. Let's buy that one. So you're going to want to buy that one with the beautiful bottom. You don't want it if it's got a weird bottom going like that. It's just not going to sit in settings right. It's just annoying. So you got to take the extra mile just to make sure your edge is nice. Always make sure you have that nice flat edge all the way around the stone, and make sure the bottom's nice and flat even when it's a carving. Same with a freeform. If you got your freeform there, you want the back. It's always got to be level, the back. Always got to be level, no matter what freeform shape it is. You got to have it level. You got to have your little bevel on the back and the top. Super simple. It's annoying when people just don't put the effort into making things level, man. These things are just going to help your stone sell so much easier. So there you go. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about these little tips here. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.